Hi, I'm Roy Collin, the host of the podcast. You can find everything about me by scanning the QR code there or going to roycollin.com. And you'll find my six podcasts, the Podfather, helping people become podcasters, the Awakening, Exposing Fraud and Corruption, but with solutions, the Crypto, all things blockchain technology, meditation podcast, speaking podcast, and the Learn Polish podcast. You can also help the show by actually making a donation, visiting the store, or helping my sponsors. I hope you enjoyed this week's show. Welcome to the Crypto Podcast. You can find all our episodes on the cryptopodcast.org. My guest from Denver, Colorado is the CEO of Gryphon Digital Mining. If I pronounce it wrong, he can correct me in a minute. He has built, led, acquired, and invested in market-changing companies for almost 30 years. He previously served as CEO of Falcon International, and he held a variety of senior roles, including at E-Trade Financial, where he was EVP and COO of E-Trade Bank. During his tenure, the bank's assets increased from 1 billion to 35 billion. Please welcome Steve Gutterman.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem at all. So obviously got a lot of experience in growing companies and everything, but before we delve into what you're actually doing, I'd like to know a little bit more about Steve, kind of your own journey, what makes you smile in the morning, bar work.
I've been really lucky in my career to be around companies that are in the right place at the right time, and it's an interesting phenomenon, right? When you have the right company, right team, right products, right capital backing, you can see extraordinary growth. And so at E Trade, we witnessed that. I was also the president of a cannabis company called Harvest. We ended up going public for a little over $1 billion, selling to Truly for a couple $1 billion. So it's an incredible dynamic when you get all of those pieces and you can put them together and you can see really dramatic and substantial growth.
Are you one of these people that everything you touch turns to gold?
Oh no, oh no, lots of ups and downs.
Okay, very good. So before we delve into the thing, just your own kind of crypto journey, what your experience and what you've been working.
Well, I mean, as a casual observer, I've been kind of in and out of coins for the last decade, and I mean, I think fundamentally, it's such a fascinating thing to think about how we as a society store and convey value. Right? I think about that all the time, from when we had to trade pelts to actually taking little pieces of gold to saying, maybe these little pieces of paper don't need to be backed by gold, and then ultimately to completely digitizing currency. And as long as there's mutual faith and confidence, it seems to work out okay. And so we're pretty happy to be a part of that.
I presume with the latest election and the whole kind of every governor and a lot of, I don't know what the different Senate and everything, but the high percentage is actually pro crypto, which previously wasn't. So I presume for you and your business, this is actually a great thing.
Oh yeah, yeah, and I think it's also important to step back and think about how quickly, on a relative basis, there has been widespread acceptance of Bitcoin and of cryptocurrencies generally. If you think about how long, for example, it took for us to leave the gold standard, or how long it took for widespread acceptance of other currencies, and then you think about the 5-10 year journey of cryptocurrencies and the level of acceptance, as you said, on the presidential level, on the congressional level, also on the sovereign wealth fund level, other countries thinking about strategic reserves. That is incredibly widespread acceptance over, relatively speaking, a short period of time.
And I mean, at the moment, the masses haven't kind of got on board yet because of the complexity. And plus, there's so many people get frauded out. Even like Mark Cuban got caught at one stage. There's a load of different people. But once it's simplified, it's going to go massive after that.
Yeah, look, we're obviously long on Bitcoin and on Bitcoin's prospects. So I personally agree with you. I think that we're much closer. Well, I don't know if we're closer to the beginning than the end point. I mean, if the beginning was in the dollars, but certainly I think that Bitcoin and the value of Bitcoin has a long way to go.
So let's talk about the company. For those that haven't heard about it, what exactly are you doing?
Right. So Gryphon Digital Mining is a NASDAQ listed company, and it's great to be on the NASDAQ. Gives us credibility and a reach that's really hard to replicate. We have two business lines. One is Bitcoin mining. We have about 8,500 machines that we mine Bitcoin with, and those machines are located in upstate New York and in Pennsylvania. And then increasingly, our second business line is that we have been getting into what is called AI computing or HPC computing. And so the similarity between those business lines is that in both cases, power is the name of the game. And so companies like ours try to go and secure really exceptional flagship assets that generate power. We put computers in those assets and we ask those computers to perform a function. In one case, mining, and in the other case, AI computing. And so we will be moving pretty aggressively on both of those fronts this year. About a month ago, we announced that we're in the process of acquiring hundreds of stranded natural gas sites in British Columbia. That'll be a great place for us to do Bitcoin mining because we can generate power incredibly cheaply. And then about a week and a half ago, we announced that we are acquiring a site in southern Alberta, 850 acres, that is perfect for hosting AI compute.
And with, like, say, New York or whatever, because when you're doing the mining, obviously the electricity costs, if it's not the gas, because obviously you spotted gas is working out more efficiently. But prior to that, is that run? How is that currently run? Because from just talking to different people, like it's whoever has the cheapest electricity is able to do this better, which can expand. So how is it done in New York at the moment?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So right now we're a part of other people's facilities in New York and in Pennsylvania. And so our power costs are average. They're not great. They're not terrible. They're about industry average. What we're excited about with this site in British Columbia is that our power costs will be extremely low. And so if you are familiar with the metrics, generally most people in the industry pay somewhere between 6 to 7.5 cents per kilowatt hour at our site in British Columbia. The cost of power is sub 1 cent. And even if you amortize the cost of equipment and machines, it's sub 3 cents, which gives us a substantial price advantage.
So how is gas? What way is it done? What is the system for converting that to energy, electricity as such, or whatever way it's done?
No, you need a generator and a container to put the computers in. So it's pretty simple. This is tried and true technology. We like to think that it's a very low tech approach to some very high tech problems.
And like for those, because the world's a bit crazy at the moment, and a lot of people are thinking, oh, wind farms and solar, but they're actually not that efficient. And plus, they can't be recycled and everything. So people have been duped with this kind of, oh, use solar, use wind turbines. Whereas you're kind of doing what's the cleanest energy out there.
Yeah, I think that's right. I don't know about duped. I think this over the next 5 to 10 years for AI computing, we believe that, and industry experts believe that that we'll need an additional 75 to 100 gigawatts of power. And just to put that in context, that's about the same amount of power as all of the U.S. households. So that's a lot of power. And so our take is there's not going to be just one answer, right? And so you mentioned geothermal, wind, solar. Those could potentially be a part of the solution, although, as you point out correctly, so far no one has really cracked the code on the economics behind those kinds of renewable sources. I think nuclear is going to be a part of the solution, although, as you've seen from news in recent months, every time somebody tries to acquire a nuclear facility, there's massive political and bureaucratic blowback. So probably a part, but we'll see. Hydrogen may be a part, but right now it's just not economically viable, and it's decade or decades away. And so for us, we think the natural solution is, and a huge part of the solution is natural gas. All right? Natural gas is cheap, it's plentiful. And so in our facility in Southern Alberta, it's we have two massive natural gas pipelines that run through the property. And so I'll actually take it one step further, though, because when you're looking for an ideal site for AI computing, you need to factor in many more variables than you do when you're thinking about a site that you need for mining. The site that you need for mining, really, all you're focused on is, are your power costs really cheap, and are you degrading the environment? If the answer to the first is yes, it is cheap, and the second one is no, we're not doing too much harm, then you're fine, right? And that's the end of the story there. But with AI compute, it's very different, right? You need low cost. In addition, though, you also need redundancy, because a AI computing site needs to be up 99.999 to the sixth nine up of the time, right? Whereas it's okay if a mining site's up 91, 92, 93% of the time. It's not okay for HPC. And so you need redundancy, you need scalability, you need flexibility, you need access to non-potable water, you need a flexible and willing local governmental partner, you need proximity to an urban center and fiber connectivity and proximity so that your latency on your fiber connectivity is decent. And then if you're talking about natural gas, you also really need on-site carbon sequestration so that you don't have to incur carbon taxes or carbon transportation costs. So when you put all of those filters on an ideal site, and then you throw an extra cherry on top and you say, oh, and we'd like to find a preeminent management team that has developed massive energy assets, then you're going from hundreds of potential sites to just a handful. And we're very gratified that a week and a half ago, we announced the pending acquisition of Captus, because we believe that it is one of the few sites in North America that has all of those characteristics. And that comes after we scoured the continent for about 2 months. So we feel very, very pleased that we are where we are.
And how long will that project take to develop?
Years. So
Will it be in phases that you'll just build it?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. So first phase is completing the acquisition, which will happen on or before April. Then we'll go through what's called the FID process. It's kind of the remaining regulatory and bureaucratic process. That'll take us through 25, beginning part of 26. We'll be able to put on power in 26, and then we'll keep adding more power every quarter after that.
Very good. And with the mining then, because there's massive heat that's developed, and it's kind of the same with the AI, with like data centers as such. There's massive heat from this. Are you able to use that? Because
Yeah, we are. And so one of the things that we're talking about is actually creating greenhouses to supply local vegetables to the people around us.
Very good. And with the AI then, is this something, because I know it's massive in Ireland as well, there's a lot of data centers being built in that. Is it something that you're looking internationally, or are you trying to keep stuff in the States?
Well, that's in Canada, and our customers could be really from anywhere. And so even though we're headquartered in the US, I think that the flow of information and data it's truly international.
And How long is the company set up? Because you said you're on the Nasdaq, so like past results, just for those that may be perhaps interested in investing.
Yeah. Yeah. So, um, we're a smaller company right now. We did about $20 million in revenue in 2024, and we'll be on pace to, if we continue to add to both our mining business and our AI business. Obviously, we're hoping to grow substantially from those numbers.
And on your website, you've got like the management team. But for those that
Yeah.
haven't looked at it, I mean, obviously, look with yourself, with your experience, but you might just kind of talk about the team as well. And because when people are investing, they look at the team.
Or we like to think that we're a much larger company disguised as a small cap company. And what we mean is we have an incredible team. We've got a great management team, got an incredible board. We've got great investors, and really top to bottom, we have people who have built billion-dollar companies in other industries. And so collectively, we've seen this movie before, and we know what needs to be done to take a company and grow it substantially. Now, obviously, as the CEO of a public company, I could never guarantee results, but I can guarantee that we have a team that is highly competent and capable and has seen it and done it before.
And you're on the Nasdaq, so people can buy the shares. But
Yeah.
is there any blockchain side of this where people can buy? Like,
I'm sorry, is there anybody?
is it converted? Is there any side of it that's going to be on blockchain that people can buy? I know what you're doing the hashtags and everything, but is there any side of this business where they're invested in the blockchain? Like they're buying actually, or you're,
They're just buying shares of the company, and anyone can really go onto the Nasdaq and buy our shares. And obviously, I'm biased. But we all believe it's a good buy, and so I'd encourage everybody to all of you listeners to, at the very least, go onto the website, find out more about us, and if it looks like an interesting investment for you, then certainly I would encourage you to look at that.
and with technology developing so fast and like chips, I believe the chips now are going to, so when you create a data center and it just changes, I mean, because you've got such a fantastic team, you're going to be ahead of the game, but it's something to be, you could have invested massive and then it changes overnight. It's something that you have to keep your finger on the pulse for things like that.
A really good question and thought. One of the board members is a woman named Heather Cox, and she and I were at E-Trade together, and we used to talk about this all the time, because E-Trade is a company that was built on technology and online financial services. And yet, there and here, and I think everywhere, you never do technology projects for technology's sake, right? You do it with a specific end in mind. For us, it's how to mine more efficiently and profitably. It's how to create an AI data center in a way that is cost effective and really meets the needs of our future customers. And so absolutely, that means being nimble and flexible and implementing the newest technologies. It does not, however, mean that you go off on a wild, what would be the right way to say it, a wild goose technology chase, right? Right. You're just constantly figuring out how to integrate the latest technological innovations into your already existing business plan.
And I think just finally, you might, one, let people know what the code is if they're interested in actually investing in this. But also, is there any, like, are you looking for people that provide data centers? Are you looking for big time investors or people with land and stuff like that? What exactly would be ideal for you? Because, things are lining up at the moment. What else could happen that could make this fantastic?
I mean, the answer is yes, all of the above, right? Investors, customers, shareholders. As a public company, we are always looking for all of those things, and we're excited about the growth prospects in both of our business lines. We're excited about where we are. We're excited about this journey, and so yeah, if you fall into any of those categories, we would love to talk to you.
Brilliant. Listen, thoroughly enjoyed it. I wish you super success, and you might let people know where they can find you.
Great. We are Gryphon Digital Mining. And so they are, our ticker symbol is GRYP. Again, we're on the NASDAQ, and we look forward to hearing from any and all of you. And so thanks so much for the time.
No problem. I'll make sure I put the links both on the audio and the video.
Awesome. Thank you.
No problem. That's all for the Crypto Podcast. You'll find all our episodes on the cryptopodcast.org. Sure to give us a thumbs up, 5-star rating, share with your friends, and comment on what we discuss. We'd like to read your comments. Until next week, take care. So I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. As mentioned at the start, you can find my 6 podcasts on roycollin.com or scan the QR code if you're looking to start a podcast or do a podcasting tour. I help with that. Also, if you're looking for a virtual assistant, we also have that service. And you can help the show by visiting the store, supporting our sponsors, or making a donation. Until next week, take care.